Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Phyllis and Billy dance in dreamy moment, reality bursts lonely XS bubble. The Young and the Restless YNR spoilers reveal that Phyllis Summers Michelle Stafford will dance with Billy Abbott Jason Thompson in a dreamy moment, but reality will burst this lonely XS bubble. During the week of February 10th to 14th, Billy and Sally Spectra Courtney Hope will spend some time enjoying Paris together. Although Sally's been trying to convince herself that their romance isn't that serious, things could change following this trip. Sally and Billy will definitely strengthen their bond, so they could be on the verge of a real relationship that's meant to last. Of course, Phyllis has made it known that she doesn't think Sally is a good match for Billy, so she'll stand by that belief. It'll become increasingly clear that Phyllis is pining for Billy and that she'd rather be the woman by his side. YNR is gearing up for a special Valentine's Day episode on February 14th, one that includes some sizzling fantasies. It looks like Phyllis will indeed have a dazzling dream about Billy romancing her instead of Sally. Of course, it could be a situation where Phyllis lets her mind wander and fantasizes about Billy being her perfect man. It's easy to imagine Phyllis daydreaming at the bar while she drowns her sorrows. Then again, Phyllis might catch some Zs and drift off to dreamland instead. Either way, there'll apparently be a fantasy sequence that shows Phyllis cutting a rug with Billy while staring into his eyes. Naturally, we have to wonder if Phyllis really wants Billy back or if she's just dealing with some loneliness. It's been a long time since Phyllis had someone in her arms and in her bed, so maybe she just needs to put herself back in the dating pool. Billy seems to be all in when it comes to pursuing Sally, so Phyllis' dreamy bubble may burst when she awakens to reality. It could be a tough reminder that Billy is with Sally now and that Phyllis is out of luck. Based on our YNR predictions, Phyllis probably won't be capturing Billy's heart and pulling him back in her direction anytime soon. It might be better for Phyllis to search for someone new to love. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some romantic updates are ahead in Genoa City, so we'll keep you posted on any big news that's brewing. A spark from the past flickers to life in Genoa City, but will it illuminate the path forward or simply cast longer shadows? The Young and the Restless teases an ethereal moment between Phyllis Summers and Billy Abbott, one that might just be too good to be true. A dance through memory lane. Phyllis, ever the fiery redhead, finds herself wandering the halls of nostalgia. The weight of loneliness has crept in lately, despite her best efforts to stay resilient. Her world, once filled with excitement and power plays, now seems quieter, too quiet. That is, until a familiar face, one that once made her heart race with both passion and frustration, appears before her. Billy. The ever-charming Billy Abbott, a man with a penchant for risk and rebellion, stands before her, offering a hand with a mischievous smirk. The setting is dreamy, almost surreal, as if the universe itself has conspired to bring them together once more. A melody drifts through the air, soft, slow, intoxicating. Without thinking, she takes his hand. They sway. They twirl. They move as though no time has passed at all. Their chemistry, the push and pull that defined their once tumultuous love, simmers beneath the surface, unspoken yet undeniable. For the first time in what feels like an eternity, Phyllis allows herself to let go, to lean into the warmth of what once was. Maybe, just maybe, this is a sign. The illusion shatters. Just as the moment reaches its crescendo, reality creeps in like an uninvited guest. The golden glow dims, the music fades, and suddenly, Phyllis is alone. The dance, the connection, it was nothing more than a dream. A fantasy concocted by a restless heart yearning for what it cannot have. Phyllis blinks, shaking off the remnants of the dream. Was it simply a subconscious wish, a reminder of what she has lost, or, more dangerously, a warning of what she might still want? She exhales sharply. No. She knows better than to revisit that chapter. Billy has moved on. So has she. And yet, the lingering touch of his hands, the way their laughter once filled the space between them, lingers like a ghost refusing to be forgotten. What's next for Phyllis? This dream, or was it a nightmare, leaves Phyllis more unsettled than ever. She has spent so much time fighting for her place in Genoa City, battling enemies, reclaiming her strength. But now, she faces an opponent she cannot outmaneuver, her own heart. Will she brush off this lingering desire as nothing more than a trick of the mind, or will she dare to entertain the possibility that unfinished business still lingers between her and Billy, with Genoa City ever shifting, and fate never quite finished playing its hand? One thing is for certain: Phyllis Summers is never one to ignore a challenge. Whether that challenge is Billy Abbott or her own loneliness remains to be seen. Stay tuned. The past may be gone, but in the young and the restless, it's never truly forgotten. A glass of wine rested in her hand, half finished, as she gazed out over the glimmering lights of Genoa City. It had been years since she and Billy Abbott had shared something real. Sure, there had been passion, fire, and reckless abandon, but those things could never quite sustain a relationship. Still, a part of her heart held onto the ghost of their time together, no matter how much she tried to pretend otherwise. As she closed her eyes, the world shifted. The room was gone. In its place, a grand ballroom stretched before her, the golden chandeliers casting a warm glow over the polished wooden floor. The air hummed with the soft melody of a jazz band, the kind that invited whispers of romance and nostalgia. And there he was. Billy stood across the room, dressed in a classic black tuxedo, his boyish smirk making her stomach flip in a way she hadn't felt in years. He extended his hand, mischief glinting in his blue eyes. "Dance with me, Red." She hesitated, but the dream had already pulled her in. Her fingers slid into his, and the moment their hands met, the world around them melted into something timeless. Billy led her onto the dance floor, his touch firm yet gentle. They swayed to the rhythm, moving as if they had been born to dance together. He twirled her, and she let out a genuine laugh, a laugh that had been buried under layers of cynicism and heartbreak. "I forgot how good you were at this," she murmured, their bodies moving in perfect sync. "You never forgot," he teased, his lips curving into that signature grin. "You just pretended to." The music swelled, and for a brief moment, reality ceased to exist. There were no betrayals, no regrets, just them, floating in the dream of what could have been. But dreams, no matter how intoxicating, always come to an end. A sudden burst of sound shattered the illusion. A ringtone. The ballroom faded, and in its place, she was back in her suite, the cold glow of her phone screen illuminating her face. Her heart pounded as she tried to cling to the fleeting warmth of the moment. She glanced at the caller ID. It wasn't Billy. It never was. Letting out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding, Phyllis put down her glass and stood. The dream had been beautiful, but it was just that, a dream. Billy had moved on, and so had she, or at least, that's what she told herself. But as she walked to the window, looking out over the city that had held so many of her triumphs and failures, she couldn't shake the feeling that somewhere, somehow, Billy had felt it too.